When you think of engines that completely change the automotive industry, what do you think about? When it comes to V8s, a big one is the 5.8-liter supercharged V8 in the 2013 GT500. But in response to that, years later, was the Hellcat engine. An engine most automotive enthusiasts have come to love just for what it represents alone. Accessible, big horsepower, and also a screw it attitude by the guys at Dodge. Not many motors have made an impact on the performance scene like the Hellcat engine, and also their mindset to put this motor in everything. And one of my favorites, the Hellcat Charger. Believe it or not, I have never driven one nor reviewed one after all these years, and I finally had the opportunity. The Hellcat Charger Widebody is a representation of excess in every way when it comes to horsepower and ridiculousness. Does this car make sense at all to be on sale? 100%, the answer is no, but that is why we love it. So before this Hellcat engine disappears into the sunset, let's go for a drive in the Hellcat Charger Widebody and talk all about it and the legacy of the Hellcat. Before we get started with today's video, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor, Dave. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to make ends meet, the holidays may be a really stressful time for you. But with Dave, you can get your money sooner, which means you get to spend more time with your loved ones during the holidays and not worrying about how much money you have to get through the week. Dave is the banking app that can get you up to $500 instantly with extra cash. With Dave, there's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. That's more money to buy those last-minute gifts or catch up on bills without having to wait for the next paycheck. You can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out without any hang-ups. Especially with things such as like last-minute travel expenses. For me, that was always the big thing. I want to go see my family far away for the holidays, but you're just kind of in a tough spot. And millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get the financial relief they need with extra cash. So if you're in a pinch and you need some extra help, download Dave today and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Download Dave today at dave.com/blue. That's dave.com/blue. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a classy, exquisite, absolutely civilized, no, let's be real, none of those words actually add up to this car. This is the Hellcat Charger Widebody. It makes 717 horsepower out of the 6.2-liter Hellcat engine. Now, most of you guys are not strangers to the Hellcat engine. Dodge one day woke up and had a great awakening and said, oh my God, we have this amazing engine. Let's just put it in everything. And that is how it pretty much all started. And it's crazy to think that the first Hellcat was all the way back essentially in 2015. Feels like an eternity ago. The thing about the Hellcat brand to me is like you have Ford and Chevy constantly going to battle, right? They're like, the GT500's faster, the ZL1's faster, the Corvette is now faster, right? They're always going head to head as a good, healthy sibling rivalry almost. With the Hellcat, they're like, we just don't care. We just don't care anymore. We just are here to have fun. And that's what I really like about how Dodge kind of turned themselves around with a completely different mindset of taking things and throwing Hellcat motors into them. But with this Hellcat engine going away fairly soon, I realized, wait a minute, I never reviewed the Hellcat Charger Widebody. From the outside perspective, from somebody who's never driven the Charger Hellcat, it was always the one that I think I would have owned on the surface level. The Challenger to me is really cool, but the Charger just checks my boxes, man. It's 4 doors. It's actually more aerodynamic than the Challenger, which is really interesting. This one goes to 196 miles an hour, and at the same time, it's just a little bit more usable. SLT! At any moment, it's like, oh, I like to party. Insane. visibility is better. A lot of things to me are just more of my preference. Dodge's interiors used to be maybe the worst in the big three. I'm sorry to everybody watching who works for Chrysler, but in the 90s and stuff like that, man, they were rough. But they fixed all that, in my opinion. All the touch points are good. They're suede everywhere. The suede steering wheel is really nice. You have carbon fiber on the dashboard. You have a really nice infotainment system. You have a good digital gauge setup combined with an analog gauge setup. You have physical knobs for your climate control, which is crazy to me that that's something that we point out nowadays when we review cars, because we all know that climate control and volume and all that stuff with a knob, it's just better than a touchscreen. It's easier. But one thing I want to point out about the interior is kind of strange. So you have your paddles right here for the automatic transmission. And next to those paddles, you have your radio controls and everything like that. Look, I can't even really find them. They're kind of in a weird spot. So you have like 2 sets of paddles. So that's a little weird to get used to if you're, not used to it. Along with that, the Hellcat Charger Widebody is just a looker, man. It's a good looking car. It is aggressive, it's mean, but I will say the green during the day looks awesome. It looks way better at night, like under street lights. I really don't know how to feel about the mismatched colors. So the hood is basically matte black and the trunk is essentially matte black. The wing is matte black and the emblems are just dark black. They don't have that chrome or aluminum accenting to them. And I know that's a really weird thing to pick out, but the emblems, I think they need that accent to kind of make it pop and be like, that's a Hellcat. I think the side emblems being dark are fine. To really bring it around, the orange calipers. I don't know how to feel about the green and orange calipers. Now, the Hellcat engine, we all know, is an absolute beast. But this thing, when you get on it from a first gear roll-on or second gear roll-on, it spins. It is gnarly, but it's gnarly in like a fun way. And you have power literally all the time. There's really not many cars on sale today that are a lot like this. I guess you could say the #1 competitor to this car is the CT5 Blackwing, which that car is phenomenal. And you can get it in a manual transmission. But that one feels more like a track weapon. This one is just like, just have fun, just do burnouts and be silly. But there's not a lot of cars on the market today where at any moment you can do that. All the time, the car is ready for you to rip. There's no moment where you feel like, oh, there's gonna be a little bit of a lag or a little bit of a delay in the power. The power is there literally as soon as you hit the pedal. There is absolutely no bearing to it. It just goes. Just making a stop. Just spun. And it makes all the right noises, has the supercharger whine. The Hellcat supercharger whine is one of the best in the business. In fact, I would argue that the Hellcat, as of like with all the cars on the market today, you have to have almost the most throttle discipline out of almost anything. The fact you just go to the dealership and just buy one, I think that's amazing, but man, you have to have some discipline to not get in trouble. Also with the infotainment system, you also have your SRT modes. That is the launch control. Yes, it has launch control, which is amazing. You also have all the different driving modes. You have auto, custom, sport, and track. And track basically takes all the nannies off, like no traction control, none of that. You know when you get in a car and you turn it to track mode and you're like, that doesn't seem like much of a difference. When you turn the Hellcat into track mode, it is way gnarlier of a car to drive, 100%. You can do that at any moment. That's what's awesome. Jeez. Ooh, that's a good sound. Woo! So even though the Hellcat has a ton of weight behind it, I don't care what anybody says, this is so much car for so many people. That was me merging. That was me merging. We live in the best time ever to be a car person. Are we in a very weird era to be a car person because of everything going on with EVs and stuff? Absolutely. But my God, we have a sedan that has 700 horsepower and we don't even flinch about it anymore. Merged. It's crazy because when you cruise on the highway as well, it just, you're superhero. You're a superhero. You can just merge whatever lane you want. You can get by anybody you want in an instant. Now imagine building a 717 horsepower car 20 years ago, and it would probably be a built motor. It'd probably be a big blower setup, a lot bigger than this one. It would probably have to be, you know, sleeved block, like all that stuff. And now it's just like, I'll just go buy one. Like, God. The good thing is, even though the car spins a lot, it spins very straight. Unless you accidentally put way too many steering inputs in, that would be an issue. Crazy, dude. I just finished my Hellcat swap in my Magnum, and it's cool to hear it in like a car and not an old wagon, you know? 40. I'm out of room. I'm already out of room. Guys, the Hellcat Charger wagon. What do you think of it? Let me know in the comment section below. I love this car. I think it's a super cool car. It might feel a little big for a lot of people's taste. It does feel like a big car, but once you actually get on it, you just are like, I don't care anymore. This is fun. And on that note, I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.